Did you guys see what happened to that poor girl who got that horrific blistering sunburn? Blistering sunburns like this are serious. You can end up losing a lot of fluids and electrolytes, requiring you to go to the hospital to get IV fluids, not to mention wound care. I'm not saying this is the case for her, but y'all need to stop listening to those quack jobs who come on here walking barefoot through a grocery store trying to convince you that we're all lying to you about the sun being bad for you. Does this look good for your health? I saw some people asking her in her comments section, how did you not know? Did you not realize you were getting fried? Did you not feel the burn? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize they're getting burned, especially if they are in the water. You can get a sunburn while you're in the water. It feels cool in there, so you might not realize it. Not to mention, sunscreen does rub off in the water, so if you get out, you dry yourself off, and you don't reapply, you're losing a lot of that sun protection. And again, I'm not saying this is the case for her, okay? But if you happen to be imbibing in certain select adult beverages, that too can compromise your cognition, make you unaware of the fact that you are burning and getting fried. I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Yikes! I reacted to it in a YouTube short, and it sparked the idea for today's video because despite your best efforts with sunscreen, from time to time you might still get a sunburn, hopefully not as bad as what she endured, or simply get way too much ultraviolet radiation exposure on a day enjoying the outdoors. Sunscreen is intended to protect you from a sunburn when used correctly. When used correctly, it also can help prevent accelerated skin aging from the sun and may prevent certain types of skin cancers. One mistake that really can cost you in the long run, especially, is the shield of armor mentality. A lot of people will put sunscreen on for a day at the beach or a day by the pool and believe that because they have the sunscreen on, they can put their bikini on and lay out and bask in the sun. And unfortunately, while the sunscreen may reduce the risk that you burn doing that, you are still getting a ton of ultraviolet radiation exposure by just laying out, letting the sun bake your skin. Despite the sunscreen, sunscreen doesn't block out all ultraviolet radiation. This is a mistake that a lot of people made in the early days of sunscreen use. They would put it on and then they would stay out way longer because they had it in their head, oh, I've got sunscreen on, I'm good, I'm not going to be harming my skin in the sun. And you still can get a lot of UV exposure while you're wearing sunscreen. Sunscreen should be paired with other sun protective behaviors like sun protective clothing, broad brimmed hats, seeking shade, not laying out in the sun, especially during the midday hours when UV rays are most intense. Try and enjoy the outdoors in the earlier morning hours or the earlier evening when the UV rays are not as intense. If you're at the beach though, make sure you have an umbrella with your sunscreen and a broad brimmed hat, sunglasses to protect your eyes. Number 2 mistake is relying on your makeup. Now, I think it's great that makeup has sun protection these days, and many makeup products offer sunscreen in the formulation that is actually broad spectrum, meaning it covers the burning UVB rays and the aging and raging UVA rays that penetrate very deeply, contribute to skin cancer, premature skin aging. Unfortunately, makeup with sunscreen is not enough because you're not going to be applying makeup thick enough or to the entire surface. In other words, you're not going to get the proper amount of sunscreen active ingredients on your skin to offer you the protection that you need. I consider makeup that has sunscreen in it as an added bonus, but I would never rely on makeup alone. Along that same vein, in this mistake category, some products are marketed as moisturizers with sunscreen, broad spectrum, and for all intents and purposes, these are sunscreens. There's really no difference between products marketed as moisturizers with broad spectrum sunscreen and products not marketed that way. However, it's all in your mindset. So if you have a moisturizer with broad spectrum sunscreen, but you just apply a tiny little amount to moisturize your face, you're underdosing. In order to get the protection from a given sunscreen, you have to apply it at a pretty thick density and, importantly, to all surfaces. Just watch yourself in the mirror at nighttime as you apply your night cream. Chances are you're not putting it on your ears. You may not even take it out to your temples. Are you putting it on the back of your neck? Maybe you are, but a lot of people aren't. These are areas that that research actually shows people skip when it comes to applying sunscreen. And if you're using your moisturizer with sunscreen and applying it like you would a moisturizer, you are missing out. Which brings me to my next mistake and a point of utter frustration with many people when it comes to sunscreen. It's that you simply are not applying enough. Like I said, in order to actually get the protection offered from a sunscreen, not only do you have to apply it to all exposed skin, but you have to put it on at a thick enough density, because they do the testing to establish the SPF using a thickness of 2 milligrams per centimeter squared. In real world use conditions, the way people actually apply sunscreen, they apply it much thinner, much more sparingly. And as a result, they end up getting less overall sun protection. One way around this is to use a sunscreen with an SPF of at least 30, if not higher. I suggest 50 or higher if you're going to be participating in activities outdoors for a prolonged period of time. But 30 is a good number for day-to-day purposes. The other way around this is to make sure that you reapply. That way you get more sunscreen on your skin. How much sunscreen do you actually need? For the average adult face, average, okay? They're going to be people with smaller faces, larger faces. For the average adult face, you want 2 finger lengths of sunscreen. That is one way to estimate the amount. But if you have a real thin, runny sunscreen, you may undershoot. And it's also a little unwieldy. Like, you measure the 2 finger lengths and then it's like, oh, gotta slap it on my face. The teaspoon method is another popular way to gauge how much sunscreen you need. You need about half a teaspoon for the face and neck, or a full teaspoon for the head, face, and neck, all surfaces of the neck, back, sides, and front. So if you have a bald head and you want to put sunscreen on your head, you need about a teaspoon to cover from the neck up. For the full body, you need an ounce, which is the amount in a shot glass. For one arm and hand, you need a teaspoon. So that's 1 teaspoon times 2 for both arms and hands. You need 1 teaspoon for a full leg and foot, so 2 teaspoons for both legs and feet. And you need 2 teaspoons to cover the front and back of the torso. And one thing that can be helpful is, say you're planning to go to the pool or to the beach, spend time outdoors. Ideally, you apply sunscreen roughly 30 minutes before you plan to leave, and then you reapply before you leave. That way you get more sunscreen on, and it helps you to get to a better thickness and also to address areas you might have skipped. All right, speaking of reapplying, this is another area where people often fall short, especially when they are enjoying a day outdoors. You actually have to reapply sunscreen throughout the day. You need to reapply it every 2 hours while you're outdoors. However, if you are participating in water-based activities, you're sweating, you get a towel and pat off the sweat, you need to reapply it more frequently. For people who are doing water-based activities, sweating profusely, I suggest selecting a sunscreen that is water resistant. Did you know you can get a sunburn while you are in the water? It's actually pretty common because the water helps to lessen the burning sensation, and you may stay in there a long time and not realize that you're getting burned. Water resistance factors are 40 minutes and 80 minutes. If you use a sunscreen that's water resistant up to 40 minutes, while you're in the water, you need to get out every 40 minutes, towel dry the skin, and reapply. If you're using a sunscreen that's water resistant 80 minutes, while you're in the water, every 80 minutes that you're in there, you need to get out, towel dry the skin, and reapply. A lot of people are going to be spending the entire day. You need to be more diligent with reapplication. When it comes to reapplying, a lot of people want to know, how often should I reapply then on days when I'm not really doing stuff outside? I'm mostly indoors. And that really depends. Honestly, it depends on where you live, what you're doing, the time of the year, how much sun exposure you estimate that you're going to get. It's always better to err on the side of caution and reapply if you think you're going to be spending time outdoors. For example, if you apply your sunscreen in the morning before you leave for the day to go to work, you're at work all day, mostly indoors, and then you leave at, I don't know, 5 o'clock, and you plan to meet your friend for happy hour, and you're going to be sitting outside. Depending on the time of the year, the sun is still pretty intense. Here in Texas at 5 o'clock right now, as of the filming of this video, you can get a sunburn very easily at 5 o'clock. So in those situations, I would suggest reapplying sunscreen before you leave to go meet your friend for happy hour, or for snack, whatever you're doing that's going to be outside after work. Do you have a long commute home in the car and it's still pretty sunny out? Well, you should probably reapply sunscreen to your face and your arms and the backs of your hands, because UVA does come through the window. So it would be a good idea to reapply. But for example, if it's the winter time and you leave and it's dark, you go to work, you're indoors all day, it's dark outside when you leave, reapplying becomes unnecessary at that point. Where reapplying definitely can make or break, though, comes down to these days where you're really enjoying the time outside and it's sunny out. That being said, you can still burn when it's cloudy out. Don't let those clouds fool you. You can still burn and get a lot of sun exposure, so still be reapplying every 2 hours while you're outdoors, and again, more frequently if you're doing water-based activities or getting really sweaty. The fifth mistake that a lot of people make with sunscreen is kind of a broad problem, and that's that they use it incorrectly. Here are some ways in which you might be using sunscreen incorrectly. One mistake a lot of people make with sunscreen is they mix things into it to make it look better. They may mix their foundation into it, or they might mix a tinted sunscreen in with another sunscreen before applying. You don't want to mix anything directly into your sunscreen before you apply it, because once you add something to sunscreen, you completely change the chemistry of that sunscreen, and therefore the reliability plummets in terms of its ability to do what it needs to do to protect you. Now, it's okay to apply sunscreen and then apply some other product on top of it. For example, you could apply your foundation, your makeup, you could apply another tinted sunscreen. It's okay to layer products. Just make sure when it comes to sunscreen that you put a layer on and you allow it to dry down fully. You don't want to put it on and it's still wet and then put more on. That might rub some off. That might lead to sunscreen pilling, which if you've ever gotten pilling, you know is a nightmare. Check out my recent video on how to avoid sunscreen pilling. I give a lot of tips and tricks in that video. So don't mix anything into your sunscreen, including 2 different sunscreens from the same brand, or a mineral sunscreen and its tinted counterpart, because a lot of brands will have a lineup and they'll have a mineral sunscreen that's not tinted and then basically the same formula with a tint. Don't mix those 2 together to lighten the tint. That can backfire. Then you can make mistakes when it comes to how you choose to use sunscreen sprays. Now, sunscreen sprays, they can be great. They tend to feel a lot nicer, especially when it's hot and humid and you're sweating a lot, but it's very easy to underdose sunscreen sprays, because in order for them to properly protect you and not have skip areas, you need to do multiple passes on a given surface, and then you need to physically rub it in so you don't get any skip areas. When it comes to applying sprays to your face, a lot of people just spray directly on the skin. That's not advised. Instead, what you're supposed to do is apply it into your hands and then rub it on your face. But the main mistake people make with the sprays is they might spray the product on at the beach outside when it's really windy, and most of the sunscreen ends up going on the ground and not actually on your skin. If you're gonna use it outdoors, make sure you kind of go into an area where there's some building structure that kind of insulates you from wind. That's definitely a downside of the sprays. Sunscreen sticks are also prone to under application and skip areas. I personally really like sticks around the eyes, and I'll use a stick for reapplication on my face on the go. But anyway, with sticks, you can easily get skip areas. So it's a good idea to do multiple passes and then physically rub it in. There are also sunscreen powders. Now, sunscreen powders can be helpful to apply on over shiny sunscreen to mattify it, but you don't want to rely on those as your only sunscreen, because they don't distribute an even amount of protection onto the skin to reliably protect you from the sun. They leave little holes, essentially, of unprotected exposed skin. All right, y'all, those are 5 mistakes that people make with sunscreen that might end up getting you burned if you're enjoying the day outdoors, or you just might end up getting way too much sun exposure, contributing to aging, dry skin, flare-ups of skin problems, hyperpigmentation, redness. The last thing I want to emphasize is these mistakes become significantly more likely, much more likely, in the presence of alcoholic beverage consumption. Alcoholic beverages make you more sensitive to the sun. Second of all, alcoholic beverages impair your judgment, and therefore you are less likely to comply with rules around sunscreen application. And a lot of people can easily get burned. A lot of bad sunburns happen in the presence of alcoholic beverage consumption. So if you're going to enjoy adult beverages, do so responsibly. I always encourage people not to drink alcohol in the sun. And if you are, make sure you're wearing a hat, sunglasses, and you have a designated driver who is going to help you to stay consistent with your sunscreen. So many downsides to consuming alcoholic beverages, but not enough people talk about how alcohol plus the sun, it's like a brutal combination for really aging your skin. The alcohol depletes the antioxidants and again, increases your sun sensitivity. When you drink alcohol alcohol in the sun, less UV is required to start to burn your skin. Speaking of alcohol and its downsides for your skin and total body health, check out my recent video talking about just that. Anyway, y'all, that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. You know, summer is here. My hope is that no one gets a sunburn. Definitely not as bad as that poor soul that you saw over on my YouTube shorts. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!